All right. Welcome back. Welcome to the Human Resource in Practice program. I trust that you have been enjoying your session so far. Today, we'll be looking at understanding compensation and benefits, one of the key, very crucial, and important human resource function in the workplace that every human resource practitioner, professional must be able to execute, implement, carry out in the workplace, regardless of what level or cadre you are in that business, be it or whatever position you are or title of your work or your job position you have taken up as you an aspiring administrative assistant, operations personnel, or you are core HR, regardless of what, or you're even in the finance project management unit. Doesn't matter what department or unit you're operating in. What is key is that you have an understanding of compensation and benefits, its importance, how to determine what is due to an employee, what an employee, even if you're here, you're listening to this course right now, you're listening to me at the moment, and you're a CEO, you're a business owner, it's important to also know the key features of your compensation program and your benefit program for your employee so that they are motivated and they remain with you. Your retention rate is high, and your rate of employee turnover or attrition rate is maintained or managed to the barest minimum. So let's go straight to the session. Now, at the end of this program, you will have learned the importance of compensation and benefit, what it means. We'll be able to tell you, we will tell you the meaning of certain key terms like salaries, wages, compensation and benefit itself, and some of these terms that you will need to know so you can, properly engage in a conversation, in a proper conversation as regards compensations and benefits. We'll be looking at different types of compensation and the types of employee compensation, certain examples of compensation at different climes, but especially in Africa, Nigeria specifically. If we're able to mention others, but otherwise, we have information in the general public that will help to guide you, that will help guide you in making critical decisions. We'll be looking at the importance of compensation and benefits. We'll be looking at the role HR has to play while defining, structuring compensation and benefits. And then we'll be looking at other examples that will help us, will guide us properly in making these key decisions. All right. So now, compensation and benefits is the reward, or a group of reward, a collection of rewards that an organization provides to its employees in exchange for their skills, delivery on their KPIs, delivery on their performance, their key duties and responsibilities. So I give you a certain reward for, in exchange for an employee working in my business or in my company, right? So these compensations and benefits are attractive. They just must be attractive. And this plan is to help that business attract and retain quality top talents, and also to keep them happy, keep them motivated, keep them satisfied. All right. To ensure that these compensations, these benefits, this reward system keeps your employees engaged. Therefore, compensation and benefits is very key. The entire program, the entire plan is very key to the human resource management. We cannot overlook it, okay? It's like if I ask you a key question now, you are called to take up a project, even if the project is, minimal, a short-term project, and it's just within a month or two, or just a few weeks or a few days. The reward of taking on that project is the fact that it's either you are getting financial compensations or non-monetary compensations, but at least it's going to add to it, will increase your value, improve your portfolio, and there's value exchange at the end of the day. Now, if we go way back, to have an understanding of how compensation and benefits started, you'll find out that in the earlier times, in the earlier days, the ways of having compensations given to people who have done one job or the other is through barter. It's through a barter system. Remember how the barter system came into existence? I think we could check history. I give you a product in exchange for another product, or I give you a service in exchange for another service. So that is the history. It's simple history, that can be termed as the beginning of compensation, as the beginning of benefits and reward system and everything surrounding that. Okay. Now, compensation and benefits could be monetary and or could be non-monetary rewards. I could pay you, the employer or the employer or the organization can pay you, give you, either cash, bank transfers, Bitcoin, or whatever monetary or non-monetary rewards that the employee receives, in exchange for their work. So together they make up a total compensation package. So it's not just the salaries. Okay, the salary is part of it, your wages are part of it, but there is a total compensation package like cost to company that is associated with your work. So also HR must have that understanding. So this could include salaries, bonuses, insurance plans, retirement contributions like pensions, and other various specs like NHIS, health bonuses, so as to attract these employees, motivate them, and also to retain them. All right. So, all in all, compensation is a top factor that every job seeker or every employee, first of all, must consider when accepting a new job. Okay, let me take that again. As HR practitioners, it's important for you to understand that to get quality talent, motivate them and retain them in our heads as employees, even as contractors or consultants, the top factor in taking up a project or taking up an employment is the fact that we want to see the overall compensation. What is this thing? What's in it for me? Yes, what am I going to gain? What's the benefit? Is it going to add value to me? Is it going to increase my market share as business owners? Is it going to expand my business? Is it going to put money in my pocket? Is it going to help me with my investment as employees? Is it going to help me grow in my career path, my career journey? These are questions that everybody needs answers to, seeks answers to. Okay. So at the same time, compensation and benefit and other maybe related taxes can account for, give or take, 70 to 80% of business cost. So for business owners, please bear this in mind. Remember that from the beginning of the session, I made emphasis on the fact that as business owners, we must know that our key assets are our employees. As HR practitioners, aspiring administrative assistant, operations lead, hear me, your colleagues, your teammates are key factors, top factors that must be considered in the overall operations or assets of a business. Okay, so your compensation, your salary, your taxation, and everything associated with benefit and compensation covers a bulk of at least 70 to 80% of business cost. Okay, highlighting the importance of getting compensation and benefit right from the start. If you don't get this right from the start and your structures are everywhere, we will have problem. Now, why it is important, why salaries are critical, why wages are important, a job that offers same salary may vastly differ in different organizations, in different salary. Okay, so if you need to make a better financial proposition over others that are competing with you as business owners, you must consider what the market is saying. So that is why offering the right package, offering the right total package to an employee is crucial in attracting these employees, in retaining these employees, and getting the right people for your business in order to be able to meet your visions and execute your missions, execute your objective as the case may be. All right. Now, for different countries, we have plans in Nigeria. However, there's a possibility, there is not even the possibility, plans in Ghana, in West Africa, in South Africa, in Asia, in Europe, in the Americas, in UK, whatever country or region that you are taking listening on this course, different climes, different plans. Okay, they have some organizations that offer free perks like maybe lunch. Some organizations offer breakfast, feeding arrangements. Some offer accommodation. Some will give pensions, retirement plans and all that from the very first day you come into the business. Some will talk about paid time off. So these are examples, free lunches, birthday celebrations, financial support or non-financial support, maybe when families are bereaved, they're going through a difficult moment, health insurance, for people who are challenged, health wise. We have different packages for different clients. So it is important that as a practitioner, you should find out what operates in your client. Okay, find out what operates in your region, and then work in accordance with what the policies of the state government or the federal government talks has directed or has placed as guide, so that you are not going against the law. All right. So quickly, what I've just said is I've defined what compensation and shared the importance and also examples of such compensation and benefits that are cost to the company, but we use these factors to be able to attract quality hands, motivate them, as well as what? As well as retain them. All right. Now, what is the difference between compensation and benefit? What is the difference between compensation and benefit? Now, compensation, all right, please do not forget this. Compensation are monetary payments that are given to employees in exchange for executing their key duties and responsibilities within the workplace. This could be typically in the form of wages and salaries or salaries. It also can come as financial contract fees, consultation fees or service charges. As long as it's a monetary term, it is called compensation. So where you hear compensation, you are talking salaries, you are talking monetary, you are talking wages, you are talking service charges, right? Now, benefit on the other hand is what? Are non-monetary. These are rewards that are not in any way directly associated with money, okay? But they are non-monetary rewards or a form of provision that is offered to an employee in addition to their compensation. Such could be pensions, NHIS, HMO plans, retirement. I mentioned the retirement plans like pensions, sometimes paid off, paid maternity leaves, all of this. At the end of the day, they might not be convertible. Some are convertible to financial compensations, but some are not. There are cases where these benefits are not actually convertible. Some departments will, you are given cars, to aid your work in the office, and at the end of the day, it becomes yours either at no cost or in exchange for something. Okay, so together, I hope we understand this. So together, compensation and benefit addresses both employees' immediate financial needs and our long-term well-being. So our compensation, anything that has to do with compensation, takes care of our immediate financial needs, and anything that has to do with benefit can be considered as a reward system for what? For long-term needs. Okay. Now, when you are talking about understanding certain key terms, in summary, I just want to quickly define um, three key major terms that are important. I talked about compensation, so I won't have to repeat myself. So we'll talk about wages and salaries. Okay, wages are form of payment for services or work to a worker, especially remunerations as maybe hourly pay or daily pay or weekly basis, depending on the kind of work. So when you say somebody is paying, oh, I want to pay you wages, usually it is usually attached to maybe like contractors, um, artisan jobs that is not associated with any form of extra benefits, except if that company or that employer chooses to do so. Okay. And some of these payments are either done on hourly basis, on daily basis, or are calculated and paid on weekly basis. Now, salaries, on the other hand, are regular financial compensations that are received either weekly or bi-weekly or monthly basis. Okay. Most of the time, salaries are calculated annually and then are paid monthly or bi-monthly or weekly basis, but not necessarily daily. However, in some region, salaries can be broken down, after calculating it, the cost to company, it can be spread across monthly and then calculated and designed to be paid, daily, but it is rarely done. What, operates in a lot of region, across regions, is that even when it is calculated annually and it is broken down into monthly and broken down into daily, it is paid bi-weekly, it is paid monthly, or it is paid on weekly basis. Okay, I hope this is clear. All right. Now let us go to compensation. Now it is important that compensation, it's important for us to know that compensations could be direct, I mentioned that already, and indirect monetary or non-monetary rewards. I mentioned that compensation, takes care of our immediate financial needs, while benefit, on the other hand, could be mid-term or long-term, could be such as pensions, right? Could be mid-term or long term. Now, these rewards are given to employees on the basis of the value they bring to the job, their personal contributions to the job, and their performance. Okay. So, whatever value you're offering to the company, whatever personal contributions or professional contributions you're offering to the company, as well as your performance at the end of the day, will determine your kind of indirect contribution, compensation or benefits. Okay. Some benefits will give immediate results. Some benefits are, on the long term converted. There are cases where companies, will convert your leave into monetary rewards, and tell you that, okay, we'll compensate you for, exchanging your leave rather than take up your leave, or you slash your leave into half the month. For example, if you are going 10 days, you take up five, you come to work for 5 days, and then we compensate you for it, then you go off for your holiday or your vacation for 5 days. That's 1 week. All right, it can happen like that. However, regardless of what compensation or benefit plans you have for your employees, please make sure, okay, HR practitioners hear me, make sure it's within the confines of the regulations of your government. Okay, make sure it's within the confines of the regulations of your government. However, you can be discreet. It is whatever it is that the company has chosen to pay, it is at their discretion. I hope we have, clarity on this introduction. Okay. Now, one of the key reasons or key differences between compensation and benefit that I would like to add is that, just as I mentioned, compensation is financial, right? Is money that an employee will receive in exchange for their value, okay, their personal contributions and performance. It can come as bonuses and as commissions aside salary and wages, okay? However, please note that compensations are subject to taxes, okay? That's where your payee comes in, okay? Your compensations are subject to taxation, okay? Now we use this to attract top talent and to boost retention rate. Bear this in mind. Benefit, on the other hand, are extra perks or that extra reward that the company will provide her employees so that they have a form of financial value. Okay. Now, but the employees do not receive this form of benefits directly. Sorry, when I mean directly, I mean in direct cash, like financial and monetary form. Okay. Now, this could include, as I mentioned already, health insurance. Some companies give stock options. You get to a level in that organization where you are given stocks, maybe like shareholders, for you become part of the shareholders for that organization. Some people register their employees at the gym, all right, put you on a platform for fitness, for healthy eating, healthy meals. gym membership. Some organizations offer flexible working hours, especially after the COVID incident, right? So we have working hours become flexible. People do hybrid now. A lot of people work remotely. Some organizations, although have insisted that their business cannot operate seamlessly without coming in the office. So on-site also, some organizations have made in-office on-site work very flexible, maybe shorter hours, however you come to the office. And with that, so many other perks are given. Some other perks include I mentioned flexible working hours already. Learning and development opportunities. Okay, learning and development opportunities are critical, very important benefit that nobody, especially HR practitioners who want to become professionals on the long term, in the mid and the long term, you cannot reject an opportunity to improve your knowledge. Okay, so these benefits are tax exempted. All right, these benefits, everything compensation, salaries are subject to taxation. On the other hand, benefits are not subject to taxation. So please bear this in mind. These two important information is key to what? To defining what benefits could be in your organization and what compensation should be in your organization. Now, HR, we need to utilize the tool of benefits and compensation to motivate our employees, to increase their engagement and to improve on their performance. Okay. The moment we are able to accommodate this, across different departments, different units, different employees, different team members, you'll find out that your team will begin to work optimally. Okay. Now, for people who are permanent staff, we already have an understanding that they work 40 hours in a week, or at least they're expected to work 40 hours in a week, and temp staffs or contract staff or those who are doing part-time will work a minimum of 20 hours in a week. Now, this kind of value should not be taken for granted. Oh, yes, we are compensating them, of course. Are we not going to give them rewards for their time? We understand you will give us reward for our time, but please, HR, be empathetic when you are designing. I'm not saying you should cut the throat of your employer or cut the throat of the company or break the bank, so to speak. All right. However, it is important that we design our compensation and benefit structure to also accommodate the benefits and the comfort of the employee. Okay, so for example, you already know that employees in their mid 30s, in their especially from the age of 40 and above, will value pensions, will value maybe parental leave, paternity leave, maternity leave, even much more than recent graduates. Okay, so if you have to look at the benefits that someone in their 40s, or a baby boomer, or a Gen Y or Gen X, versus someone who is in the Gen Z generation. All right, you find out that those that are a little older will value anything that has to do with personal development as much as pension plans, retirement plans, parental leave, maternity leave, time off to take care of their families, to take up one vacation or the other, to build and train and increase in knowledge, versus a recent graduate, who will value much more in financial monetary rewards as against long-term non-financial reward. So find out, you must be able to sit down and design a very interesting program to suit different generations. All right, so let's look at other key areas in the compensation and benefits program.